Hello, everyone, and welcome to this conversation presented by White House Custom Color. Kevin and Clare Kubota, here we are. In all honesty, I thought about, who do I want to talk to? Who do I want to reach out to? You guys are people that, to me, I don't need to elevate or like make a list of who's the best or whatever, but you guys are like the people that, for me personally, I would want to reach out and just talk to personally, like for comfort and for reassurance, and people that I would trust. Like whatever you say, I would trust it because I trust you guys. So for me, this is kind of like my personal edition of all of these.
Okay,
like
good. As long as you're not recording any of this.
Right.
I was going to reach, I was actually thinking this morning, I wanted to reach out to you about something, but we'll save that for later.
Well, maybe because
I had a little meeting this morning. I said, I think I'm going to call Jed and talk about this little issue here.
Okay. We could do that after this. Or if you incorporate it and then it's a bad idea, we'll just cut it out.
Yeah. I think it'll be a bad idea.
Okay. I trust you. I trust you with that too. So give me your perspective on what's happening right now. Let's start there. And you, either one of you can get after it.
Is this the time for silence?
No. Who's going to start?
Well, I guess it's, I'm sure we're feeling a lot of the things that everybody else is feeling. And, it's funny how the Facebook and Instagram and everything sort of perpetuates a global feeling, and a lot of times in a really good way, the feelings of being excited about people reaching out and helping each other, and this is, providing free meals when the restaurants are closed to the workers that are laid off, things like that, which are encouraging, and all the cool things. And of course the cat videos and things that make you smile online. And, so we're circulating with all that. And I think maybe more than others, we tend to stay away from the sensation and the hype and the bad news and the stats and the figures. Just stick to what we need to know and focus on the good.
Well, Kevin's not a news guy anyway. Like he's just totally, nope, don't turn on the TV. I don't want to read that. If it's something important that I need to know, I'll find out. Someone will tell me, or I'll find out about it.
She just told me last week that my shoulder pad jacket was out of style from the 80s that I thought was still pretty hip. And
was it
so that's one of the downsides of not.
Was it a members only jacket?
The news. Staying current. For sure.
See, I'm probably more like him too.
What'd you say?
I'm more like Kevin, and Vicky's more like you. And I find out a lot of the unsettling stuff from her. Because otherwise I'm kind of like, I don't need to see that.
Yeah. But I definitely feel a strong sense. Yes, I want to be informed. But I also want to filter the information. Like for me, social media is great because I follow people who inspire me and who have a beautiful message to share, and friends that I connect with on a spiritual level or an inspirational level. And so I'm not on there seeing just all this craziness. I'm seeing amazing, beautiful stories and being inspired. And so, but I definitely feel, and when this all started going down, it was kind of, it's just a flu. What are they talking about? All these numbers, and why is this such a big hype and everything? And because I think we find the news that focuses on what we want to believe, on the version that we want to be.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that going on.
And then when we have a workshop planned in Italy for July. Well, we don't anymore. If things don't work out, if we can reschedule, amazing. But we've got dear friends in Italy who they were on the same page. This is just a flu, and it's just, their livelihood is based on guiding tours and bringing people to Italy for tours.
Yeah.
That's how they make their living, and that's how their company makes its living. And so that's what we all wanted to believe, and just, yep, we're still going to be able to do our trip. And then when that was quickly shattered, you know, it got really real, and we all kind of had a little bit of a wake-up call and said, now maybe we take this seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it happened
still,
fast.
There's still so much out there that,
yeah,
you know, who knows what. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, why is this real and why is this different? But I know we need to be safe, but what really is the difference, and educating myself. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, kind of part of it for me, like considering that I'm more like Kevin, is that I'm thinking like, I just want to look at rainbows and butterflies, and I don't need to hear all the bad stuff. And at the same time, at what point is it necessary that I hear some of the things that I need to hear, even if I don't like it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, necessary might mean unsettling at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
And
sometimes we need a little wake-up call.
Well, I think that's what's happening on a really wide, enormous scale. This is a wake-up call.
Yeah.
What does that look like in your lives? Like, for you guys individually and together as a married couple, what does the wake-up call look like? What are you being woken up to?
I think we're being woken up to, for me, I'm awaking to the very real possibility that everything we thought was going to work for us in the near future is not, and that we're going to have to change directions, change our expectations. It's brought about some really interesting awarenesses within our family, which is one of the things I'll talk to you about later when we're offline. And I've realized that without this situation, this awareness within our family probably wouldn't have come to the surface. We probably wouldn't have been engaged in it in the way we are. And it's not an easy thing to deal with, but it's also something that has to be dealt with.
Yep.
And same with business. I think a lot of businesses are going to be realizing that their model was not sustainable. You know, whether they didn't plan for the future and have any backup resources, or this may be a time when people discover I really wasn't doing what I wanted to do, because now that I have a chance to do something different, I'm finding there's other things I want to do.
Right.
And I'm kind of forced to explore them now, which is can be really cool. I mean, for me, one of the things I've been spending time with is getting a live streaming set up for my local Unity church. So I've been in charge of all the technology and getting the live streaming going so that we can broadcast services. And it's been awesome for me to use my skills and my, technology skills to get that going, but be focusing completely on somebody else and just giving you my time has been totally amazing for me and awesome for our community. So it's been a blessing in disguise, and that wouldn't have happened if we had been business as usual right now.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I reflect back on, because the other big bump that in the road that we hit, Kevin and I built this big, beautiful building to launch our business. We had the biggest staff we've ever had, and the building was completed in May of 2008, which is when the market tanked. Real estate, our town of Bend, Oregon was hit really, really hard, real estate wise.
The first time.
And
right.
So we, how did we show up to that? Fortunately, we were financially in a position that we could weather that storm, and we could weather having an empty building where we had spaces that we were really needing to lease out and had a big loan. We were able to kind of take that on. Now things are different and we're a lot smaller, and we've just shifted and changed things in our business because of where we are at in our life. And for me, we've done a lot of personal and spiritual growth in the past few years. And so when in times like this, where normally I'm a type A and I am a worrier and I, stress about stuff, But
you know anybody like that, Jed?
I didn't. That's a trap. I don't want to fall into that trap.
But now it's how do you take all those lessons and those things that you've been working on, and how do you show up? Like the universe is now putting you to the test and saying, all right, you think you know something? Show me. Show me how you're going to step up and step into this hard, challenging situation. Are you going to rise to the occasion, or are you going to freak out and worry about stuff you can't even predict?
This is exactly
we don't know
that.
what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah. It's because we get into I feel like we get into this mode in our normal lives, right? Where it's easy to say, what are you saving up for a rainy day? Are when the rubber meets the road, what's it gonna be like? Or I'll be ready and then it's here. And for a lot of people, it's really, really here. And so like this is the battle that you're in boot camp for, right? Like if our normal lives are our boot camp, whether we know it or not, we're on the shore now, and we're being fired at now, and it's very, very difficult for so many of us that I don't know. In hindsight, I should have done this better. Or I should have saved up more here. Somebody earlier today was like, I'm good for the next couple months. But I'm finding out that a lot of people are, they're only good for a couple weeks. And isn't that something else? And I'm like, I think that's not uncommon. I don't.
No. Oh, that's most of Americans.
Yeah.
Live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
And the whole boot camp thing, maybe this is all, like you said, a wake up call that we weren't as prepared as we thought we were, or maybe we need to think about that when we're done.
Right.
And I think more so than just being prepper style prepared, with supplies and that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about emotionally, mentally, spiritually prepared.
Yes.
When the crap hits the fan,
right. How
are you going to react? That's what character is what you are in the dark. And when the dark comes out, how do you behave? You get to see who truly is in touch with their center.
Right.
When stuff goes bad, what do people do?
Right. Because if I have 400 pounds of soup, it's not going to matter if I'm a mess, especially for my family. Like I can have 10,000 gallons of water all ready for the end. But if I'm a mess, it's not going to help my wife or my kids or my friends or anybody.
Oh, totally. Yep. Yep.
So,
well, I have to share with you because we were talking with your family the other morning and got off that conversation and I was like, damn it, look at them. They're having family drawing time. Vicky's redoing the studio.
Yeah.
Like we're doing all, and she's going to go get the camper. She has the tent set up for like all these, I'm like, oh, awesome. And what am I doing? Well, I'm cleaning the freaking kitchen again and trying to figure out what we're going to have for dinner. And I'm a total loser.
You know what? I have discovered, if there's something I've discovered about my wife and myself, I remember somebody told me this a long time. It was a business mentor of mine, like 25 years ago. And he said, they took two little boys and they put both of them in a room and both rooms were just full of manure. And I was like, okay, that's weird, first of all. And he's like, and they gave him an hour and they opened the doors an hour later and one boy was huddled in the corner and he was like, this is awful. This is terrible. It smells in here. I can't stand it. And they opened the door of the other boy and he's building castles and he's like treating it like sand and he's throwing it on. And he's like, this is awesome. You can do anything with this stuff. And I'm like, I'm the first boy. And I married the second one. And she's just capable of just making lemons out of all different kinds of lemonade, right? And so I find this because I was talking to Allison Tyler Jones the other day, and she made a good point about how everybody's at different stages through this, and yes, it's when you're at a stage when you're ready for that, and you need that motivation from somebody, then somebody like her is inspirational, right? And then there's other times this is for myself where somebody like that is just somebody that I want to pound into dust. And I'm just like, I don't want all these options, right? Right? I mean, I don't need, because I'm in a room full of manure, and let's just sit down and talk about how we're in a room full of manure first before we start building castles with it. Let's at least acknowledge that it's a bunch of horse crap.
Embrace the manure. Embrace it first.
Well, acknowledge it and then embrace it. Right?
Yeah. And then build.
Is that? Yeah. I mean, is that a terrible analogy? I'm trying to make a point here, and maybe I'm not doing such a good job, but I think for a lot of people, it's
wife. And...
I think you're just too focused on toilet paper, Jed. That's why.
There's that too. I just think it's important that for a lot of people, you acknowledge first that yes, this is a difficult time. And some people, of course, are struggling worse than others, but that needs to be acknowledged before I think we start talking about all the silver linings and all the opportunities and all the different things that we can do with this time. Because all that's true.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's also true that there are people that are in a world of hurt right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think it comes to, because that's where awareness comes. They always say the first step to change is awareness.
Yes.
And just noticing how you're feeling and what is bringing you anxiety, and is it real or is it just stories that you made up in your head that you're predicting that may or may not come true? And what is worrying going to do about it? Are you going to be proactive about finding a solution, or are you just going to sit in your chair and scroll or stress out and cry? And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but just being aware, okay, that you're doing this, and this is what, and sometimes I go, this is what I just need to do right now. Yeah, yes. I need to cry, and I need to be pissed about this.
Yes.
And I need to be stressed, and I need to not do anything today.
Yes.
And I need to give myself permission to do that.
You just did a much better job of explaining it than I did, without the use of manure or any sort of disgusting analogies. So what? Okay, so do this for me if you can. Give me some advice for people. Other than just to give yourself some space and time. Like what? Give me some practical tips, maybe that you guys are even putting into practice.
Well, I think the obvious one. I mean, from a business perspective, and maybe some of the other people have already talked about this, but I think what I was really discovering is that what you do as a business now determines what you're going to look like when you come out of this thing. So whether you as a business are, leaning into this and supporting your customers, or giving something extra to your customers, providing extra services, whatever you can do, even though it hurts to do it because we're all like, there's no business for anybody for the most part. But we kind of have to have a leap of faith that we're going to give back. We're going to do something, because that determines whether your customers come back when they do come back, and they will, and this will turn around. But if you're just going to put your head in the sand and say, well, I'm going to go stock up and shut the door and hide it out, I think it's going to be harder to pop back
on the other side. Yep.
Yep. So one of the things I was thinking, when you asked us to do this, I thought, we don't have currently an active portrait wedding studio. We did for many, many years, for over 25 years, but now our focus is on our software company and the album company. Mm-hmm. And it's still photography related, but it's different. And I thought, well, what are we going to say? What are we going to say to a photography owner? Or how can we show up? I know, and I find I for sure came up with things. Because we've been in this industry for a long, long time. But I think we all realize that when you help others, the person who gets the biggest lift out of it is you.
Yeah.
And so if it's just doing something totally unrelated to your business, but helping your kids or helping your neighbor or sewing face masks, whatever it may be, that helps someone else, that's going to help fill you. And that's going to help you keep your sanity through all this and keep yourself together. One thing that I realized that in reflecting on this is, again, thinking, how can we give back? What can we offer our customers? Who's going to be ordering an album right now?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, that business is for sure taking a hard hit already.
Right.
And I thought, well, you know what? Kevin and I have a lot of expertise, and I was thinking about what is my favorite part of our business always been. And I love working with people, and I love problem solving, and I love helping them up, or giving advice or turning a customer who's really pissed off about something. I love dealing with those people because I see that as the biggest opportunity for our business in turning someone like that around, and really hearing them and understanding their frustration, saying, and help me help you. And so that they come back and say, wow, I appreciate that. And that's one of my favorite things. And I thought, well, okay, what's something that, using that, something that I enjoy, how could I give back? And I came up with an idea and thought, well, what Kevin and I have years of experience. What if we offer, some free consultations, just one-on-one? Hey, what is something you need to work on in your business?
Yeah.
And we'll do a 30-minute Zoom meeting with you and help you with pricing, or help you with album design, or putting together packages, or your workflow, or your branding, or whatever it is. And just because that will lift us up, because we love doing that. And heck, we've got a little bit of time right now because business is a little slower.
So are you doing that?
Are
you doing that?
Yeah.
So do you have like a way for people to sign up for that?
Well, we're going to be sending out an email either today or tomorrow, because I composed it yesterday, and so we're getting it all designed to send out to our email list.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you just email us at info@Kubota Image Tools, and that's Kubota.
Yeah,
People
right.
always mess up
right.
the spelling of that name. And just, I'd be interested.
Should have picked a name like Google or something.
Yeah. Amazon.
I had that name, but they took it.
That's right.
Money talks.
And do that. I feel like that'll be something that'll really fill us up. And man, if we can spend some time and so you're still people are still wanting to keep their foot in their business and wondering, how do I keep things going? And and I heard another one of your speakers, someone you were interviewing, just sharing, this is a time also to take care of things that you haven't had or made the time to do for a long time, that you've needed to work on.
Right.
And again, not to put that pressure on you. It's like, all right, come on, every day, let's get some stuff done.
Well, you can look at it both ways. You can, like, which room are you going to stay in? I mean, I think it's okay to be in either one of those rooms, but you shouldn't stay in the first one. You shouldn't stay there.
You can stay there for a little while,
just
and then
a little bit.
To get out.
And if you need to go back in there for a little bit,
again?
Yeah, the manure rooms. I apologize. I think that's a great. I think it's a great thing that you guys are doing.
So we hope so.
Other than that, I think it's focusing on other creative endeavors, which I think a lot of people are already doing naturally.
Right.
Taking time to work on, like, I've got a little video project with my son that we're going to create just for somebody's birthday present. We're going to do some fun little project together, and working on just things that I've always had in the back of my head that I'm going to do. And I think that's kind of an amazing outcome. And I think we're going to see amazing things when this is done, that people who have dabbled into those creative back rooms, that they've been actually opening up, getting into now, are going to turn out some really amazing things. So I'm pretty confident we're going to see a lot of creative, new, innovative things, whether it's from photographers or business ideas, that's going to come out of this when this all kind of folds over. So
I've thought about that, and I've already suffered from some of the pre-envy, where I just know that there's going to be a few months from now where someone did something with their time that turned out to be so amazing for so many people. I'm going to be like, why didn't I think of that? Like, somebody's going to come.
Why didn't I do that? I know.
I had the time to do that, and I didn't do it. And that guy
I played
did it.
video games instead.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. We've been swamped with all of this stuff because this has taken off and people are actually watching these and engaging with these. And so there's a lot, everybody's home right now. So this is what they're doing. They're watching Netflix and they're watching this and they're listening to other podcasts and things of that nature. So I think that you guys are amazing and I appreciate your time. And, thanks for doing this.
I think what you're doing is amazing. I love these stories. I think you're exactly right. So this is your brilliant, you and White House coming up with this and this concept and how well it's taken off.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
Well,
thank you. I love it. And I hope to just keep doing it, even after on the other side of this. So have a great rest of the day. It's great to see you guys. You look wonderful as always. And I'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
Bye, Jed.